SCP-061, also known as Auditory Mind Control. SCP-061, in its current state, is still in progress pending completion by the researchers developing it. SCP-061 itself is an acoustic computer program that, when finished, will be used to produce successful countermeasures to similar programs made by other governments or individuals. At its core, 061 is the brainchild of research showing that music and sounds can influence an individual's emotional and cognitive state. When 061 is used on someone, it will essentially cease all conscious thought in the subject by intercepting their own thoughts with frequencies produced by 061, more or less putting the person in a standing sleep, for lack of a better word. Subjects affected won't respond to attempts at conversation or express any personal desires, and will follow commands without question until they can't hear the program. At that point, the subject will break from its quote-unquote sleep and return to normal. Most test subjects don't recall anything during 061's control. However, a few describe the effect as watching helplessly as their body moved against their will. SCP-062, also known as Quantum Computer. SCP-062 is an unbranded personal desktop computer housed in an aluminum case of indeterminate make with no discerning labels of any kind. The words "Information is freedom" are scratched on the casing near the back with some kind of jagged metal similar to a key. SCP-062 won't work unless the case is completely closed, even though the interior appears to only contain a blank circuit board in place of a motherboard. Despite this, 062 operates like a regular desktop computer with the exception that its performance, operating system, contained data, and language all change each time it's activated. SCP-063, also known as the world's best toothbrush. 063 appears to be a simple pale blue toothbrush with the words "the world's best toothbrush" stenciled on it. As opposed to a normal toothbrush, SCP-063 is capable of removing all dead and inorganic matter with its bristles from existence, leaving no trace behind. However, when used like a regular toothbrush, subjects report their teeth feeling remarkably clean. SCP-064, also known as Flawed von Neumann Structure. SCP-064 is a light brown brick composed primarily of silicon oxides and other organic matter. To the uninitiated, 064 is visually similar to any other brick used in construction. That is until the object is left lying on a flat space of soft earth, upon which 064 will start to multiply using silicone fibers that fill with a soil-based mixture until reaching the proper mass. Upon reaching said point, 064 will solidify. This process is similar to mycelial propagation in fungi, and when under optimal conditions, soil composition of around 90% silicon dioxide, it takes about 70 minutes for a brick to appear. Given enough space, 064 will eventually produce a highly complex but theoretically stable freestanding structure, potentially attaining the shape of a 12-pointed star. However, all construction stops permanently once the structure hits a significant obstacle, in addition to needing 064 somewhere on or in the structure in order for growth to occur. SCP-065, also known as Destroyed Organic Catalyst. SCP-065, in its current state, is a spherical region of space around 12 meters in radius on a farm near a withheld location, existing ever since the GOC, or Global Occult Coalition, destroyed another anomalous artifact on a withheld date, causing the deaths of 11 GOC operatives and 5 civilians. Since containment, the radius has decreased from its original size of 108 meters down to a more manageable size. Once any living organism enters 065's field of influence, effects such as spontaneous separation and fusion of undifferentiated cells, spontaneous necrosis of living tissue and reanimation of dead tissue, as well as rapid genetic mutation of living tissue, occurs, with the rate of the effects depending on the mass and complexity of the organism, with smaller animals showing signs of change after several days, and humans being fatally altered after only 15 minutes. SCP-066, also known as Eric's Toy. Prior to Incident 066-2, SCP-066 was an amorphous mass of braided yarn and ribbon that, when strands of 066 are taken individually and manipulated, produce musical notes. When 6 or more notes are played, 066 will produce an effect of varying nature and duration, such as transforming into a calico kitten for 17 minutes, playing a song about not using sharp objects without supervision, and a small cupcake after playing the notes of Happy Birthday. SCP-067, also known as the Artist's Pen. SCP-067 is a pale green fountain pen with a single red line going down the side of it, reportedly made by a German supply company called Pelikan between World War I and World War II. Despite lacking a visible reservoir, 067 never appears to run out of usable ink. Past research shows that anyone who picks up 067 and holds it loses all autonomy of the hand that grabbed the object. This unknown force will then begin to write out a detailed biography of the subject holding 067, with information ranging from name and date of birth to specific moments in the person's life, such as a car accident that one test subject was in the year before. In addition to writing, subjects holding 067 have created intricate works of art, regardless of their previous artistic training or interest in the arts. SCP-068, also known as the Wire Figure. SCP-068 is a wire stick figure composed of a single wire looping around to its center that is normally dormant except when given an electric current, upon which 068 will move around like a regular human. During its active state, it will search any metallic material. After finding any metal, 068 will form another instance of itself out of it by kneading the metal into a thin wire. This behavior will continue until either there is no more metal in the general area, or 102 replicas have already been made. All replicas will then merge into themselves to create one hive mind figure, with the 102 figure maximum creating an instance nearly 2 meters in height. In this new state, 068 will situate itself in the quote-unquote neck of the figure and continue its search for metals to form into more instances. After 4 minutes and 32 seconds of being in this state, 068 will fall dormant and need to be melted out to be retrieved. SCP-069, also known as Second Chance. SCP-069, when not taking the form of a recently deceased individual, is a presumed humanoid entity of variable appearance and gender. When it is in the general vicinity of a dead body, it will essentially turn into an exact copy of the individual, mimicking their mannerisms, appearance, and memories, becoming completely indistinguishable from the original body. In this state, 069 responds normally to pain and other mortal feelings, but if killed, will decay into dust no matter any attempts at preservation. 069 appears to be able to impersonate a single individual indefinitely, claiming to have an overwhelming urge to quote-unquote get their life in order, making efforts to essentially right any wrongs the individual might have committed while alive. SCP-70, also known as Iron Wings. SCP-70 appears to be a Native American male with a pair of rusted metal quote-unquote wings emerging from his back, along with various chains attached to each wing, all tipped with a barbed arrowhead. Despite the subject claiming to have no control over the wings, 070 has expressed feelings of pain when damage is done to the wings, along with using the wings and chains to attack by lashing at aggressors, in addition to wrapping the chains on its body in defense. Though they appear rusted, the wings and chains themselves are as strong as high-quality steel alloy, as well as being dense like steel too, limiting 070's movement. Thank you once again, researcher, for taking the time to learn more about the SCPs within the Foundation. This is Index Terminal 1, signing off.